Hi, and welcome to the LiveEdge Lumber Girl Show. This episode of the LiveEdge Lumber Girl Show comes to you from Tags Tools, with 2 locations to serve you in Hamilton, one at 1104 Barton Street East, and in the mountain at 1361 Rymel Road East, your go-to store for hard-to-find tools and machinery. Hi, you're about to check out Wayne Boland of WJ Boland Design. This guy is a true artisan. Enjoy. So we're here with Wayne Boland. He's what's the name of your company, Wayne?
It's called WJ Boland Design.
Great. Okay. So how long have you been in business?
Well, I've been doing this stuff, actual business-wise. I've been in business a couple of times. I had a store in Bayfield once, but I was always working on the side too. So it's always been a side business, but now it's like what I do now. So
yeah, it was a side hustle and now it's a full-time hustle.
Right now, I'm just doing that. Originally, I started when I was at my crafts. I was when I first got married. Of course, we had no money, of course, and I always wanted to do stained glass. I collected bottles, colored glass, marbles, you name it, but could never afford to do stained glass.
Right.
I finally bought my first book. I had it for years, and then I took my first stained glass course. I made a duck, a stained glass duck, and a leaded rooster. And then I started going from there. After work, I would do all these things. I would work 40 to 60 hours a week. Then I would come home at night and do all this other stuff because I wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
So I started doing, and then I got better at it. Then I did church windows. I did transom doorways, dividers, all kinds of stuff. Then I got into lamp making.
Right. Okay. And that's where the Tiffany lamp came in that you were telling me about. Yeah.
I started with the panel lamps, right? But then I always like a challenge because we were so used to working with our hands with metal, doing molds and stuff like that. So I started doing more intricate stuff, more challenging stuff. So I started doing Tiffany reproduction lamps. And those lamps would have anywhere from 370 pieces up to a couple thousand pieces on the one lamp.
Wow!
And it would take you anywhere from 30 hours to 400 hours to do one lamp. So not too many people would do the lamp making. Like you go to the stained glass stores and you have to order all these molds in from the States and other places around the world.
Yeah.
You get going because you'd say, well, you ever made a lamp? Oh, no one would ever take the time to do a lamp, right?
Because right. Okay.
And so I designed my own lamps, and that's a different thing. You have to do a mock-up, a layout, flatten the layout, and cut your pattern pieces. You do over a light table later on. So you're talking with a small lamp, you're talking with pieces really small, like half-inch diameter. Like if you're doing a lamp that has thousands of pieces in it. So this lamp, or the most pieces of that lamp I made, was a lamp burner. It had 14 pieces shy of 2,000 pieces, and it's like a wisteria bush, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But all the time I always like to do wood. I did wood on the side, metal, whimsical stuff. I always try to stay ahead of the curve because when I was doing lamp making, I was selling quite a few lamps. But then of course China gets involved and everything gets produced.
Yeah.
And it becomes a generic name, right? Tiffany.
Tiffany lamp.
Tiffany
lamp. Sure.
Could be anything that's 5 inches in diameter, whatever. But the original Tiffany lamps today, on auction, they go anywhere from $40,000 to $3 million per piece, right?
Oh my God!
And they closed down in 1920. So, but everything else is a generic name of that company.
I see.
Whether it's made in China, whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of got a little harder to compete because people would say, well, I can buy a lamp for $100, $200.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. That's fine too. That's competition, but.
But I'm guilty. I have a made in China one.
No, I know, but that's just how the crafts go. So it kind of shrinks your craftsmanship and your technical stuff because then you start making lamps. You really can't make a lamp for that much money. There's no way you can do that, right? So
exactly. Yeah, you have to do it. It has to be something you love.
Yeah, that's right.
It can't be about the money so much as it is about what you love doing, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Because, but I'm kind of a craftsman. I always like the challenge of something. I don't
Right.
like to take the plain Jane things like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So anyways, that's how I really got started in colors and stuff like that. Yeah. And I did that for years, as I was working, right? So
Yeah.
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 So
So I see you now working with LiveEdge, and you treat
yes.
your LiveEdge like it's a Tiffany lamp, literally. You
Well, that's another
you
thing too.
add real sand into your work
Yeah.
and all these colors. It's amazing. And the patience. I know where you get your patience now. I figured it out.
Yeah.
It's from doing the Tiffany lamps. But you
Yeah.
literally tell us a little bit about your technique of putting these tables together and putting the epoxy in.
So like I said before, when you trying to stay ahead of the curve is one thing with the arts, but like I was doing epoxy work quite a few years ago already into tables and to other things and inlays, but now it's become another really popular thing, right?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. So you say
so
that you've been doing that. You were doing that before it was a trend.
yeah, yeah,
Really?
and then
Okay. So
so
you're
so
actually
now,
ahead of everybody, really.
well, yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is, like it's because I know methodical. I just like to do things intricately. So a lot of the stuff that I was putting out, people say, "Oh, they wouldn't do that," right? Kind of thing, whatever. So, and that's the way that I kind of compete because it seems to be unique. Because I like when you see those pours, like they just the mixing a 5 gallon pour, when you pour about, what that's like,
Yes.
and it's really not too artistic. It's filling in voids, but I would
It's
insert things. I have stuff inserted into epoxy from old breadboards and tables, like right into the table has keepsakes, right?
yes. Yeah.
And to and then when I do work on a live edge with epoxy, I do like to backfill it and take a lot of time to make it look like or you mix colors, your sands, your different pigments. It's kind of it's challenging. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do a lot of test pieces doing that, but I find that the outcome and the table you're talking about, it should be ready soon. I do have another video
Okay.
about that. But
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
one before. I did one before, and the one I done before was where the waves had come in and washed out. So and you have to imagine a washed out scene. So I try to imagine
Ah,
that when I'm doing it, what the sand would like be coming back over everything else. So you can have an inrushing or an outrushing one, right? So I try
okay.
to imagine those things, and if I like now I'm working on uh, like I have one that's I don't know, it's just got all different shades of blues and greens in it, and you can either you can insert the epoxy with things with colors, or you can kind of paint the bottom and layer epoxy. There's lots of different ways to do that.
Right.
Right. But I always like color. It always comes from the stained glass and bottle collecting. Introduce a lot of colors. Uh, and I do like acrylic pouring too, like stuff like that. And I work on metal. What do you call that stuff? Whimsical stuff, right? You'll see that one
Okay.
that comes in. Yeah.
Right. Right. Do you have a
So,
website that you put all your products on,
well,
or
no,
how do
I
you
used,
contact your customers?
well, okay. I used to have. I just through Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay.
When I was making lamps, I had a website, but
Yeah.
now I just have it on Facebook and
I
Instagram.
see. I see.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts are you located?
I'm located in London, Ontario. Yeah,
London. Okay.
yeah.
And your service area, are you selling to anybody anywhere in the world, sort of thing? Do,
No,
do,
I just sell locally. Whoever gives me a call, like
okay.
yeah. I used to
I
have.
see.
I used to be up at the market there, but that kind of all went to heck because of what's going on. So I'm just based out of my house right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one of my questions
Yeah.
is, what are you doing now that this virus is, affecting everybody's business? And are you finding ways to still get business, create new clients?
Yes, I do because being I'm the only worker, so to say. When you have a production place, it's so hard with that place, right? But because you have to have this guy doing the painting, the spraying. But when you do it all yourself, you're not set back too much, right? If you
Right.
do the planing, the everything yourself, you're just a one man show.
Yeah.
It takes a little longer, but you
Uh-huh.
don't have to rely on, you're backing up a system, right? So
Right.
a little different
Right.
than, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of guides out there that they're one man shows. They're working in their garages and that's
Yes,
what they're doing,
that'd
right?
be me. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I work out of my garage. I work in the basement. I have a whole basement full of stuff. So I'm able to do that, it doesn't affect me as much. And I feel bad for a lot of people that are out of jobs. But as
Yeah.
far as affecting me, I kind of about the same right now, other than picking up stuff's a little different. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, like, tell me about how did you start? How did this start? Did you go to school did you study art?
Well, hobby plus I wanted to learn quickly, and
Yeah.
I never went to art school. Never. We Of course, when we were young, we had no money to go to anything like that, so it's pretty well self taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was
Right.
doing my big lamps and stuff like that, I went to a lot of seminars and exhibitions in the about lamp making down there. I learned some stuff there, but mostly it's self taught. And with the woodwork too and the inlays, it's pretty well self taught. You might uh, see something else, but sometimes when you have outside sources, you don't really express yourself the way you want to express. It's
Right.
yeah, when it comes from your own head, it kind of lays out a little different. It's like oh, I don't know. Expression is for one thing, it's not mass producing. So if you have someone that
Yeah.
says they want something in a hurry, uh, it sort of makes me uneasy with my work. I
Right.
Yeah, the only way I can express myself is to let me just go at it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
myself. Yes.
Otherwise, you probably feel like anxious to get it done for the person, and then you don't get to use your creativity the way you'd like to.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens. So yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the tables that you do, so you're using epoxy. What else? Like, how are you finishing those tables? Are you using specific top coats, or are
Oh
you
yeah,
using oils, or?
the raw edge ones, I found that the finish I use now in raw edge is a Rubio Monaco.
Okay.
And you can get that online, or Jeff Mack Designs sells it. But the nice thing about Rubio oil is that it never overlaps. Like, you can put it on,
Yeah.
and if you have a scratch somewhere, like you do with everything, you could rub that scratch out and put more Rubio oil on it, and you never see an overlap.
Right.
It's
It
two
doesn't
coats
show.
all you need. Sometimes just one coat. It's great stuff. And I do
Yeah.
use polyurethane on stuff, polyurethane on some of the tables too. But
Okay. Are you spraying that, or are you
nope,
brushing it, or?
no, I don't have a sprayer.
Uh,
I might get one someday, but it's mostly just hand.
Yeah.
And you really have to have a quiet room to do it by hand, because anything that lands in there, the trouble
Oh,
with everything, you have to spin it all out again. Where
yeah.
Rubio oil, you don't. It's the best thing. It saves you
Yeah.
time. It's expensive, but it saves you time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So for any of our listeners that will be listening, that are just getting into the business, that would be something you would recommend for a finish then, is the Rubio.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
not on like barn board furniture, but on a smooth
Yeah.
surface,
Yeah.
like a sanded surface for like the raw edge.
Right.
Ruby oil is yeah.
What do you recommend for the barn board?
Well, I'm still getting into that. I've been doing a lot of testing downstairs, and see, the trouble with barn boards, and when you clean them, when you do like a varathane or something like that over it, it loses its color a little bit, right? So you got to try to find the clearest varathane you can get. Yeah, you want to get that as much. The only way to get that really is to keep testing on the wood, because
Right.
it changes the color so much, especially like a polyurethane will darken it up quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's because of the gray stuff that's on those boards. It's more adept to absorbing stuff quickly,
Yeah. It's
and it
very
really
porous.
grabs that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So it gets that stuff, and it darkens the wood so much. And it's different
Yeah.
if you plane it down. You can use anything. It doesn't really matter. But if you're
Right.
trying to
Right.
keep that old, really old look, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Then there's a
that'd be
challenge
like
there.
what I found. Yeah.
So you're working on a table. I guess you've been putting some videos on Instagram. So if people wanted to go and see what you've been working on, what's your Instagram handle?
It's the WJ Boland Design.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So they can go
Everything's
there
under W. Yeah.
and see everything that you're making. Yeah. Right on. And what do you see for your future? Are you just planning on just continuing on what you're doing? Do
You
you
know,
think you're going to expand a little bit or?
I don't know if I'm going to expand a little bit because I worked, like with lots of people, and it's a little tougher uh, to do your own thing when you have other people with you. You
Yeah.
probably will know what that's like, but I think I'm probably just going to be a one man
Yeah.
show, and I'll keep on doing. I work in wood, glass, and metal. I'll go on a binge where I work with metal for a long time,
Yeah.
whimsical, and then I'll go and do some acrylic pours, uh,
Right.
epoxy pours like in a frame with background. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can insert stuff in there so it looks like a three-dimensional thing. So,
Okay.
so I have a lot of stuff like that. Always something to tinker with. I
Yeah.
can't sit down, so I got to keep doing it. I go at it all the time. So it's fun for me. It's relaxing and it's
Yeah.
challenging. Like I said, it, and I know when you're talking about custom orders, the trouble with custom orders, I don't mind doing them once in a while, but I
Yeah.
always find custom orders they inhibit me to express really what I want to do. And
Yeah.
I do custom orders, but it just takes away the feeling
Yeah.
of uh, your participation, what you want to really do.
Yeah.
When I did lamp making, I never did a custom lamp make shade because everyone's perception of color is different. Your color of red is different than my color of red. And
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different colors of blues and stuff like that. So to express yourself freely, you pretty well have to just do
Yeah.
what you want. If a person likes it, fine. But that's not saying I don't do custom work.
Okay. So, but I guess you could do custom work on the premises that you're going to actually be free to express your own artistic
Oh, yeah,
values into the work,
yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah.
right. I've
That,
done that quite a few times. Whether they like,
yeah, I could see
if they
that
let you
that
loose,
working.
yeah,
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 yeah, right
if
on.
they,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So
Yeah. Okay, so Wayne, what would be the best way for people to get a hold of you if they were interested in talking to you about one of your own personal custom pieces, whether it be a Tiffany lamp or one of your acrylic art pieces, which I assume they can see on Instagram?
yep, I have lots
Yeah.
of those. I'll be
Yeah.
putting more on probably. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I recommend putting a few on. I'd like to see some of
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
your
So
and your tables as well. The live edge work that you do. What would be the best way? Is it Instagram is the best way to get a hold of you?
Instagram's okay, and yeah,
Okay.
email like my email is Wayne Boland 52 at gmail.com, and my home phone number. I still like to talk to people.
Oh
And
yeah, so do I. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's why we
yeah,
how many times have we talked now, right? Yeah, talking on the phone
yeah.
is so.
So I say with my home phone number, it would be 519
Yeah,
204 2363. And I do have a cell number. It's 226-238-9707. I prefer the landline.
yeah. Do ya? Okay.
Old fashioned, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. You're a bit
yeah.
old school.
So
It's been a challenge
yeah.
getting you on Zoom, but we did it, and that's great. I'm so glad that we finally, after all these years of like, I don't know how long that we've been following each other on Instagram, but it's
Oh, I've been
nice that
following you a long. Yeah, I've been following
yeah,
you a
yeah,
long time.
yeah. So it's nice that we connected and we finally get to meet each other and see each other. That's the one thing I love about doing this show is that I'm actually getting face to face with some people that I know, like kind of know, you know, but I've never ever really met with them before. So,
Oh no, no, I
yeah,
agree. I appreciate you doing this for me. It's nice. It's
yeah,
yeah, it's a little.
yeah. Well, if it can lead to connecting with other people in the industry, in the community, or lead to people realizing that you have something to offer that other makers maybe don't offer,
Yeah,
then you can get some business, right?
yeah.
So that's great. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks so much. I hope that we can follow up in a few months and see where you're at, maybe sometime during the summer or something, and we could do an update. And
Well, that would be
maybe
good because I probably have a lot more to say, but you think you have things in your head, all of a sudden you get choked up, right? So,
No worries. No worries at all, Wayne. It's been a real
Okay.
pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed watching, be sure to click like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell to stay in the loop. If you have any questions, or if you would like to be featured on the Live Edge Lumber Girl Show, leave a comment below. Until next time.